Hi, my name is Matthew. I'm the youth counsellor that works at Southwest Youth Services. I work with all the young people across our programs, including those at Claymore. Claymore is an interesting place because we work with young people who often are at risk of falling through the cracks in life, at risk of not finishing their education, getting pregnant really early, or participating in crime. In Claymore, it looks like we have a whole suburb full of those problems where generations of people have lacked a formal education. I think 65% of the population in Claymore does not have a formal education, and at the moment 30% of the girls in the age of 14 to 21 are either mothers themselves or are pregnant. So we have a growing problem of young people who have not been getting the help they need for a variety of reasons, and we aim to go in there and provide some specialist support, and to do that in a way that promotes respect and trust with the young people and their families. One of the things that struck me was that young people in particular didn't really set any goals for the future, and it seems that they developed a very short-term view of what they wanted in life, often restricted to today or today and tomorrow. And I think when a person and a family is experiencing so many barriers, it becomes overwhelming to even consider the possibility of change. And so then things like participating in crime seem very attractive because long-term consequences are really not that easy to think about when you're worried about where food's going to come from in the next couple of days, or whether you're going to be safe enough at home tonight when a certain family member's been drinking lots of alcohol. When young people enter into crime, it tends to cement their beliefs about not belonging, and that's a really unfortunate thing because it reduces their opportunity to develop a career. It also reduces their employability because that stands out to employers, and they start to talk about participating in more and more crime, and they might travel in groups to go and participate in a fight, for instance, in a neighbouring town. And then their life starts to become more centred around crime. They might start to use a lot of cannabis as a way of coping with the stress of living in a situation where there is no hope for the future. When I begin counselling with a young person for the first time, I like to help them to gain a bit more stability in their life. And if their family is a positive source of that stability, it's helpful to include them in the counselling. However, sometimes family can't be included because they're actually a source of the problem. For instance, in a situation where there's family violence, I've needed to work with a young person individually to develop a safety plan, and sometimes that may involve actually giving them bus tickets to get on the bus and go to a relative's house when their dad's come home drunk from the pub. And so that's what we'll work on first, and we'll keep doing that until the young person is in a position to be able to take the next step forward. The effect of family violence on young people is quite profound because it actually delays part of their brain development in the areas of self-control and in the areas of managing their emotions. So when we see young people who've grown up through an environment where violence is very common, they show an indifference to violence superficially, but they also display really strong tempers, aggressive responses, and problems with authority such as police. And that's all the result of living in a dangerous and violent home. Unfortunately, that has a negative effect on society because when these students go to school, they're prone to fighting, they're prone to being aggressive towards their teachers, and then the response from general public is to either try and stigmatise the young people or to control them in some way to reduce that out of control behaviour. when in actual fact what the young person needs is to have a stable and reliable relationship with a safe person who's not going to hurt them further but is going to help them to make sense of their experience and what's led to those extremely strong, unpredictable and unstable feelings inside. Sadly, when they have no hope for their own future, it generates comments from passers-by who might label them no-hopers, and it's very common to hear of a school teacher or a parent say to a young person, "You're never going to amount to anything good, you're just going to end up in jail." So we hope to provide a different experience to that, and we give our young people as many positive messages as we can, that they're valuable, that they're special, and they deserve to be protected.